Eighth time's the charm? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with another set of Rare Americans music videos. This is our eighth set, in fact. And just as a reminder, these are donation rewards for Venom. So thank you as always, Venom, for donating for these. So we have four Rare Americans music videos today. Um, and I'm hoping this to be a pretty good set because the titles of these sound pretty interesting. So as always, we're going to go over the titles and my pre-thoughts based on what the titles could mean. So first we have Stupid Heart. So since these music videos and songs tend to deal with real life situations, really tough struggles that characters go through, some of them even based on real life situations, Stupid Heart makes me think of like a couple different ideas. One, it could be in relation to someone caring about someone they shouldn't. Like saying, oh, my stupid heart caring about this person despite them being abusive or despite them being toxic and a bad fit for me. Stuff like that. It could mean dealing with loss or other traumatic events, and your heart is just, causing you to feel pain. It could mean a lot of things like that. So it's pretty vague, but I'm very curious as to where it's going to lead and what it's going to be about. We also have Sway. Sway is more vague, it's less clear because sway could mean a lot of things. It could connect to a lot of things. When I think of the word sway, I think of like swaying back and forth. Basically, how I dance. I'm not even kidding you. My form of dancing is literally just swaying back and forth to the music. I don't like dance in any other more put together way. Um, so that's what I think of with swaying, and I don't know if that's going to have anything to do with it. I don't know if there's going to be any connection there, but excuse me. But I'm very interested to find out. After that, the third one is Take It Right On, which sounds to me like you're telling someone or someone's telling you to to fight for it, to take it on, to do what you need to do in order to either survive or continue moving along or to deal with someone who's bullying you or something. It could be a lot of things again. But this one I feel has like more actual idea to it based on the title. The final one is Mr. Please. This one like implies a character, a specific character, and please is usually asked as well, it's usually used as an ask. It's like you're asking someone to do something. And usually when you say please, it's like one step beyond just asking. You're not quite begging, but imploring someone to consider your request. It's it's that stage when you really want to try and convince them. And I'm wondering if maybe it could be about like a person who tries to lead you down maybe a path, either right or wrong, by manipulating you with the word please, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways that this could be used within the context of a Rare Americans video, you know? Because it's a very specific style video with, specific messages and ideas within them. So I might be entirely off on all of these. Excuse me. But I guess we will have to find out. So let's just get into it and see what these 4 videos have in store for us. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. We have gaming content as well on our secondary channel, Princess of Gaming. Every single day we upload parts of Baldur's Gate 3, and every other day is Horizon Forbidden West. But on Saturdays we also get to Nier Automata. Don't forget to click the link in the description for today's reaction. I redirect everything on the channel just because of copyright. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that like button. It helps out the channel and allows me to get more of this awesome content to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on with today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this was an interesting set, and each of them definitely had a lot of meaning, a lot of depth to them. So let's talk about it. So first we had Stupid Heart. And I was kind of on the right track. I was talking about, like, oh, like, you're like upset at your heart for liking someone who's toxic or abusive or something like that, or things like that is what I said in the pre-thoughts. But it's more dealing with liking somebody who's taken, who's unavailable. An issue that I feel a lot of people probably go through, myself included. There's been multiple points in my life where I have fallen for someone who happened to already have a partner, or I found out later was even married. and the thing is, a lot of the times when that kind of thing can happen, there's a lot of questions you have to ask. Do you really, are you, like, do you really love them in the first place? Or are you, like, connecting to certain ideals that they carry? Is it the person, or because they're being nice to you? And that's something I definitely have to ask because I'm autistic. And I have a very, very difficult time, like, differentiating certain things like that. For example, I have no idea if anyone has ever tried flirting with me, because I have an extremely difficult time differentiating what that would look like compared to just someone being nice to me. And it goes the opposite way too. When I've had just people being nice to me, I'm like, my mind kind of like tricks me into thinking, is this love? Do I love this person because they're just being nice to me? And it's like, you really have to think about that kind of stuff when you're in a position like I am, but just in general even. In this case, we follow along with, I think his name is Chris. He's this guy who was shown for the first time in, at least I think for the first time, in Brittlebones Nikki 2. And he was the one ferrying Nikki to the afterlife. So I really didn't expect to see him, of all characters, return. But here we see that he had this crush on this female, was she a demon? Or was she like an angel? It's something like that. This otherworldly being, like him. He had a crush on her, but soon found out that she was taken. She already had a partner. Because of this, he ended up locking his heart away and throwing it into Mount Doom or some shit. Because the person he loved ended up not being able to love him back, and he felt like his heart had betrayed him. His stupid heart had betrayed him because of that. And then years down the line, he's gotten married, has kids, but his heart is still locked away until he meets this woman again. And they try to hit it off as friends, having not seen each other in years and years. But he realizes that he can't do that with his heart locked away. So he has to go retrieve it. And upon doing so, realizes that he's already got what he wanted. He already has a wife and kids, and he finds that he does love them. And realizes that his stupid heart, he may have felt like it led him astray before, but it was just waiting for the right time to beat. And that's that's good. That's really good. It's a good message. It's like, yeah, you're going to have crushes on people, and sometimes it's not going to be able to work out for one reason or another. Whether they're taken or whether they're just not interested in you or stuff like that, it's not going to work out, and it's going to hurt. It's really going to hurt. And again, I'm speaking from experience here. It's never a good experience being denied, or even just realizing that it can't happen. That's never a fun experience. But you'll eventually come to realize that it just wasn't your time yet, and that you will eventually find the right person if you keep looking. And it's a good message to teach to people, especially those who have had troubles with this, who have dealt with this kind of thing, and feel like they're worthless even because of it. It's definitely something that I think works in a lot of ways. But the next song I want to talk about is Sway. So Sway and the next one after this are more lyric videos than actual music videos. And they basically just reuse the same animations over and over again, rather than having like new ones for each part of the video. But the message still gets across. So Sway centers around this like teen girl who is watching her father's downfall. She's watching him just completely lose himself to drinking. And there's not really implication that he's abusive or anything like that. But she feels like she's losing the father who motivated her, who helped her, who complimented her, and was always there for her. And she's losing him. And she wants to help him come out of that funk. I don't think it ever really says like a reason for why he was in that kind of state. But the message doesn't really need to rely on any specific there, because it still stands no matter what the specific might be. And I think that allows it to reach to a wider audience. Sometimes people will look to a bottle or a can or just, alcohol in general, a glass, in order to find themselves comfort in a world where there's a lot of discomfort. And they don't always realize how it's affecting their loved ones, especially when it completely starts to change their personality and the way they interact with others. They don't always realize that they're alienating their family by doing this. And it's it can reach like abuse levels to where it gets really bad and can even lead to some even crazier, darker shit. But just the idea in general of a parent losing themselves to drinking and how it affects their child is something that can be, expressed and understood in various different cases. It's a lot more simplistic than Stupid Heart, but it also has a wider range of connection, I feel. And that's the appeal of it. It can connect to a lot of people going through a situation like this uh, for various means. And it can connect both to the children and the adults going through it. So I hope it at least gives a lot of people the opportunity to think about stuff like this, if nothing else. After that, we have Take It Right On. And this one, again, was another one that was basically a lyric video. And was basically saying, like, oh, are the problems in your life, the things out to get you, literally able to, like, kill you? Literally able to eat you? If not, it's something you can handle. If these problems won't actually cause your death, it's something that you can handle, something you can fight through, something you can, survive and continue on with your life after. It's basically saying that you have the strength and ability to overcome your problems, unless there's something that, again, will literally cause your death. This is actually one of those rare, wording unintended but great, one of those rare Americans music videos I actually disagree with. This is one that I'm actually, like, kind of very notably disagreeing with, because it's kind of predicated on an idea that I don't believe in. And that is that some people's problems are inherently worse than others. And let me explain. Like, you might be thinking here, it's like, oh, are you saying, like, having, like, cancer or something isn't worse than having a stubbed toe? It's like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. Just hear me out. I don't know why those are the examples I went with, but what I'm saying is that people have different thresholds for how much of a problem they can handle. No two people are alike in that. And different people, depending on various factors, can handle only certain things before it starts causing them problems or trauma or excessive pain. And we have no right to determine what is too much for someone to handle. We have no right to make that claim. Just because someone else's problems may seem small to us, that doesn't mean it's small to them. It could be, like, life altering to them in terms of intensity. And again, we have no right to determine what is or is not a major problem to someone else. Because there's a lot of factors that goes into that. There's a lot of factors that goes into that. And you could use examples that seem silly, but think about an example like this. Let's say you're a very well-off person. Not like the most wealthy, not like a billionaire, but just notably well-off. And you happen to misplace a $50 bill. You don't know where it went, you don't know what happened to it, but you do not have it anymore. If you are like notably well off, it's not going to affect you. It's going to suck, but it won't really affect you that much. Now imagine you are not necessarily in full poverty, but like lower middle class. Losing $50 could absolutely destroy your ability to get food, enough food, especially if you have like a full family and stuff to feed. It can hurt your ability to pay certain bills. It can really hurt you if you are in a position where every penny counts. And it's not just with money. This goes with pain and suffering and problems that you face in the world as well. Some problems may seem less to you, like lower problems, not that big of a deal. But to another person, it might be like the straw that broke the camel's back. It might be that one problem too many, and it's just like everything just falls apart. You really shouldn't like look down on people's problems because they don't seem as big to you. And unfortunately, that's kind of what I get from this song. If the problem isn't going to actively kill you, you can handle it. It's like, no, that's not inherently true. I get the idea, I understand what it's going for, but it's it's an idea that basically forces the thought that everyone can handle the same level of stress, the same problems, the same pains, and that's just not the case. It groups everybody up into one being, basically. And that's just not how humanity works. So yeah, it's like one of the only Rare Americans videos that I ever think I've disagreed with in terms of its lyrics and all. Our last one, though, here is Mr. Please. And this one I'm actually entirely on the opposite end of. I am very much in agreement with it. Mr. Please is an interesting song title because I don't think the song really has anything to do with what I would think it would be based off the title. The title's completely misleading. It has almost nothing to do with the lyrics of the song. The song is about the oppressed, the overworked, the lower class rising up against those oppressing them. The upper class, the 1%, the politicians, businessmen, factory workers in charge. Everyone who's pushing back against the lower classes and treating them like shit and keeping them lower class. It's a song basically about rising up against that, about fighting back against the systems and leaders of oppression within your society. And it was not lost on me, by the way, that the Mr. President character was an elephant. Not lost on me. But it's like, it's very clearly trying to say that we can't let these people like control our lives and make them hell because it serves their needs. That we have to rise up against that kind of ideology and against these kinds of people who are causing so many people to be in these kinds of oppressed situations. And yeah, that's absolutely correct. We do need to rise up against people and corporations and societies like this. The only problem is not enough people will, whether out of fear, whether out of like complacency, or because they agree with the oppressors. which is always wild to me. It's like, you agree with the people oppressing you. Wild. That's crazy, honestly. But yeah, it really sucks, honestly, that we have to like be told this kind of thing, that we have to be in this situation in the first place. But unfortunately, it's just there's not much we can do about that because humanity is such a diverse group that there's going to be people who are just bad and who treat the working class like shit. And, I believe a good example to use here, I believe I heard a story one time about an Amazon factory. And I think it might have been during COVID time, but it's like a storm hit the factory, like things were collapsing and stuff. And then the employees were expected to still continue working and all. While the storm was hitting this factory, while shit was in danger of collapsing. It was like a notable storm too, by the way. It wasn't like just a simple thunderstorm. It was like dangerous. And the employees were forced to continue working there for their piddly little pay. And then when like the building collapsed and everything, like I think people died. Like that's insane. And there were definitely people injured as well. And it's just like that's horrific. And nothing would be done about it because, the 1% aren't going to cannibalize themselves. They're not they're going to be on each other's side in this situation. And that's ridiculous. We have no way of actually getting things done unless we full rebel. And unfortunately, let's be honest, in real life, a full rebellion like that isn't really going to happen. We the closest we'll get is riots, but we're not going to have like a full rebellion and take back this country for the people. It's not going to happen. Not enough people will mobilize for that. Not unless something like really notable happens that would like force everyone to do so. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, because these politicians and one percenters have kind of mastered the art of keeping it subtle enough to where not only will some people just not notice or care, but some people will actively as well side with them because of the way it's presented. And it's fucked up. But that's capitalism for you. That's yeah, not great. And just as a note for everyone watching this, remember the kind of channel that you're watching right now. Just keep that in mind. Um, I am very left in terms of politics. I am a, non-binary pansexual trans woman. So it's like it's kind of required of me to be left, but also that's just, you know, what I believe since I believe in human rights and everything. But it's kind of required of me because it's like my rights are at stake otherwise. And the other sides of things literally want to criminalize my life. So yeah, fun. But remember like what kind of channel this is. It's like you can argue to a point in the comments if you want to. You can debate or whatnot. Just at least keep it nice. At least keep it respectable. Because I will delete any comments that are left in poor taste or attacking people or whatnot. So be careful with your wording. And on top of that, if you actively, extremely heavily, like, try to cause problems, I'll just ban you. I'll just ban you from the channel. So, yeah, just be cautious. Just remember that this channel is very much leaning a certain way. um, and again, as long as you're courteous about it, you can have some differing opinions. Just don't be an asshole, okay? And as long as you're also not just like bigoted and everything, like racism, sexism, transphobia, stuff like that, that's not going to fly no matter what. Like, you can be nice as you want about that, it's not going to fly still. So just letting you know, just letting you know. Um, but yeah, so if I'm going to judge these four songs based on just the music and how much I enjoyed listening to it, the last one actually would be my favorite in terms of that. Because I think it just had the best sound to it. It was just the most enjoyable to listen to. Based on the message and how it's presented and everything, the first one I actually liked the most in terms of the lyricism and the message and everything. Stupid Heart, I think, just won me over in that regard. Um, but Mr. Please had the best music, in my opinion. And the worst was definitely the one that I disagree with in terms of message. Plus, the music for it wasn't that great either. It's like Take It Right On. Yeah, it's like that one. I didn't like the music for. I didn't like the message. So it's like that was just easily the worst of this set for me. The overall best for this set, I would still give it to Stupid Heart. If I'm just, I think it just like was the best overall. Even though I think that the music was slightly better for Mr. Please, I think Stupid Heart, the lyrics were much better to a degree where it kind of made up for it. Not that the lyrics were bad for Mr. Please. I just like the lyrical content for Stupid Heart better. Yeah. um, but tell me in the comments below what you thought. And thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.